Hello guys, you are welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to be teaching a very simple strategy, the break and retest strategy. And this strategy is very simple. It's one of the setups you can add to your strategy regardless of what strategy you trade. You can always add the setup to your strategy. So please like, comment and subscribe. So first off, I want to make this demonstration of what a break and retest is and how you can capitalize on the break and retest. So let's say you get into the market and you see this. You see price creating higher highs and higher lows. So let's say you see this. Price is creating higher highs and higher lows. That means the market is bullish. Just draw your trend line. And as you can see, what makes a trend line valid? When it has at least two touches, and this one has touched the trend line twice, so that's a valid trend line. So this is a bullish trend, and let's say this is a 4 hour. Regardless of the time frame you trade, you can apply it, but I would love to use the 4 hour. So let's say this is the 4 hour time frame. So you see price creating higher highs, higher lows, higher high, higher low, higher highs, and a higher low. So now this is a bullish market and price has created a higher low. So now what do you expect? You expect price to create another higher high. So how do you capitalize on this potential move, on this potential higher high, right? So let's see, price hasn't yet created a higher high. Price has created this higher low, and you're expecting price to create another higher high because it's a bullish market. So what do you do? So that's where the break and retest setup comes in. So you scale down to, let's say, the 15 minutes or the 5 minutes. You can draw this in the 1 hour and scale down to the 5 minutes. It depends on the time frame you use to track the trend. I love to use the 4 hour, so that's why I'm talking about the 4 hour here. So let's say I scale down to the 15 minutes. So let's see, when I scale down to the 15 minutes, this was what I saw. So let's see, when I scale down to the 15 minutes, this was what the information the 15 minutes give. Because as you can see, it created a lower high, right? Sorry, a higher low. So what do you expect now? You expect price to move higher. So how do you get on the trade? So very, very simple. This is what you do. And remember, this is the 15 minutes. This is the 15 minutes, and this is the 4 hour. And this move is what I have drawn here. So this is the move in the 4 hour, price creating a higher low, and this is it in the 15 minutes. So now what you basically need to look out for is to look out for price changing structure and breaking this trend line. So this is what we are expecting price to do. So let's say from here, price move and create another high in the 15 minutes, another lower high in the 15 minutes, because the 15 minutes is bearish and that bearish trend is temporal. Because remember, the 4 hour is bullish and that's the major trend. So price creates a lower high, right? It creates a lower high. Sorry, it creates a lower high, then move down. So when this higher low was going to be created, let's say it didn't take out this low, so that means the structure has changed. And after not being able to take out this low, it broke this trend line and retested. So now this is the perfect time for you to enter because you have seen a structural shift. And also price has broken the trend line and it has also taken out this high, right? So it tells you that the trend is about to continue. Remember, We are talking about the 4 hour, but now we are looking for entries on the 15 minutes. So it tells you that the trend is about to continue. So this is where you take your entry. You take your entry here, right at this point. Then you target this, maybe this high. You target this high. So you take your entry here back to the 4 hour. This is where you take your entry. Is because I'm making the demonstration, I'm doing the entry on the 15 minutes. That's why I'm creating lower lows and lower highs. But now remember I said structure has shifted here. So now we are looking forward to buy. That means the trend is about to continue. A new high is about to be created in the 4 hour. So this is basically what it will look like. So let's say price retested, then you entered. As you can see, this is where you take your profit at the resistance level, right? So that's basically what the break and retest is. So now I hope you understand the demonstration I've done. Now let me now go and give you real examples on the chart. So this is the first example, and this was a scalp trade. It was a very quick trade I took on gold. I didn't even post it. So with this trade, I because it was a scalp, as I said, you can apply this on any time frame you want. I checked the 30 minutes and it was bullish. As you can see, it's bullish. I don't want to go there and draw a new trend line, but I hope you understand what I'm talking about. The 30 minutes was bullish, so I scaled down to the 1 minute. This is the 1 minute. You know, gold is a different pair. Gold, the attribute of gold is quite different from all other pairs. So sometimes gold can give you scalp trees, it can give you intraday trees, or even swing trees. But I don't like to swing on gold. So sometimes I scalp because of how volatile it is. So I looked at the 30 minutes chart, and the 30 minutes was bullish. So I scaled down to the 1 minute. I saw this temporal bearish trend. So remember, this represents that trend. This one, that's the temporal bearish trend. So what did I do? I placed my trend line. And this is exactly what I spoke about. So price broke the trend line, retested. And as you can see, that's where I took my trade. When it retested, I took the trade and I placed my stop loss below this low. Price price moved a little lower, and as you can see, it moved straight to my take profit. And immediately after I hit my take profit, it rallied down. But I had already taken profit. I was already out of the market. So that's how the break and retest works. So this is the first example I'm giving. Let me give you another example on a different pair. So let's move to BTC. I also took a trade on BTC using the break and retest strategy. So this was the trade I took on BTC. This was the trade I took on BTC. As you can see, this is the 4 hour chart BTC. So what happened? This setup is quite different from what I explained, but this was also a very good break and retest trade. So this is the 4 hour chart on BTC. So price was very bearish, and BTC on the daily chart is bullish, but it switched bearish on Thursday, and since then it has been selling. So it sold to this level. And remember what I said, I could have drawn a trend line here and waited for a break of that trend line, then I'll buy. But seeing how bearish the market was, I wasn't even thinking about buys. I was thinking about sells. Unfortunately, price actually broke this trend line. Let me move to the 30 minutes for you to see clearly. The higher time frames will always give you the direction, but you will have more clarity in the lower time frame. So as you can see, price broke the trend line, retested it, and that was exactly where I took the trade. It broke this trend line. This was the break. It broke the trend line, retested, and that was where I took the trade. And I took partial profits here. I entered two different positions. I took partial profits here. But then my second position, I placed the stop loss here. As you can see, this line, Price came back and took me out there. So I had made my profit for the day. It went and hit my SL and rallied down again. But then I was already out of the trade. So that's another setup on the break and retest strategy. So the last setup, I also took a trade on, I think that was Monday or Tuesday, on US oil. I also used the break and retest strategy to take that trade. So this is the trade. This is the trade. And this perfectly describes the what I explained earlier using the tools. This perfectly describes it. So as you can see, this trend line, I drew this trend line in the four hour time frame. Let me move to the 4 hours. So price was bullish in the 4 hour. So remember what I said? I said for a trend line to be valid, it should have at least two touch points. It should touch at least two swing lows or wicks. So this trend line had touched. This was the first point A, and this was the second point B. So that made it a very valid bullish trend line. So price was bullish, but at this point, price switched bearish. You see, I bought at this level and sold when price switched bearish. So this is not what we want. I already spoke about these trades in one of my videos. So when price switched bearish, I knew that price was originally bullish. So I scaled down to the 30 minutes. I scaled down to the 30 minutes. When I scaled down to the 30 minutes, I drew this trend line, this temporal bearish trend line. That's a counter trend line. I drew this trend line, and remember I said for a trend line to be valid, it should have at least three touches, and this was the first touch, second touch, third touch, and this was even the fourth. So price broke this trend line and retested the trend line. This trade hit SL, and I spoke about why I prematurely took this trade. This trade wasn't matured when I took it. I was impatient and I entered this trade and it hit my SL. But originally I was supposed to take this trade here. So to prevent you from making this mistake, go and watch the video. I made a short. Just click on my channel and go to short. You see, I made a video on how I prematurely entered this trade and it hit my SL. So this was how the trade was supposed to be. I was supposed to take the trade here, right? And my stop loss would have been here. So you see price hit TP. So I wouldn't have taken this loss. So that's not why I'm here. You can go and check out that video on my shorts. So price broke this trend line, retested it, and boom, it moved higher. So that's basically what the break and retest strategy is. So please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys.